Last year, a woman named Susan sat across from her husband at dinner. He told her he'd been working late. She believed him. She believed him for 3 years straight. Here's the thing, though. The signs were always there, every single night. She just didn't know what to look for. Now, here's the part that'll get under your skin. Susan isn't unusual. She's actually the norm. Studies show the average person gets lied to somewhere between 10 and 200 times a day and detects maybe a fraction of those lies. Spouses miss it, parents miss it, managers miss it, and they're not stupid people. They just were never taught what trained interrogators and behavioral psychologists have quietly known for decades. That changes today. If you want more content like this, hit subscribe and drop a like. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who'd find this useful. Before we go into the actual signals, one thing needs to be said up front. There's no single magic tell that means someone is lying. Anyone who says otherwise is selling something. What actually works is clusters, multiple signals happening at the same time or in quick succession. That's what the pros look for. Keep that in mind as we go through these. The single most important skill in detecting deception is something most people completely skip, and it's this: knowing how someone behaves when they're not lying. Behavioral scientists call this establishing a baseline. Before you even think about catching someone in a lie, you need a reference point. How do they normally talk? Do they make strong eye contact, or do they naturally look away when they think? Do they gesture a lot or keep still? Do they speak fast or slow? Here's a fun fact. Research from the University of Michigan found that liars actually make more eye contact than truth tellers, not less, because they've heard the myth that liars look away, so they overcorrect. Wild, right? Once you know someone's normal behavior, any deviation from that baseline becomes a signal worth watching. Lying is genuinely exhausting for the brain. When you lie, you have to do multiple things at once. Remember the fake story, make sure it's consistent with things you said before, manage your body language so you don't look nervous, and keep track of what the other person already knows. That's a lot of simultaneous processing. And under that kind of mental pressure, the brain starts to show cracks. What does that look like? Slower speech, longer pauses before answering, simpler sentence structure because the brain doesn't have the bandwidth to be eloquent while also maintaining a fabricated narrative. Some people blink less. Some people go unnaturally still. A really effective way to test this is to ask an unexpected follow-up question mid-story. Not an aggressive one, just a detail question. Something like, "Wait, what day of the week was that?" A person recalling something real will handle that fine. Someone who's constructed a story often stumbles because they haven't built out the full fictional world. This one is subtle, but once you notice it, you cannot unnotice it. Liars tend to distance themselves from their own statements through language. They avoid saying I, using we or passive voice instead. The car got scratched instead of I scratched the car. They use hedging language, as far as I know, I think, to the best of my memory, even when describing something that happened to them personally. You don't need to the best of my memory to remember whether you had lunch yesterday. Research published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that liars also use fewer emotional words and fewer exclusive words, things like but, except, without, because exclusive words require nuanced, accurate thinking about an event. That's harder to fake. Here's one that's honestly a little eerie once you know it. When something genuinely surprises or upsets us, our emotional reaction and our verbal reaction happen almost simultaneously. But when someone's performing an emotion, faking surprise, faking offense, there's usually a slight delay. The expression comes a beat too late, like the news just buffered. Similarly, watch for emotions that disappear too fast. Real sadness lingers on the face for a second after someone tries to move on. A fake smile drops off instantly the moment they think you're not looking. This is one of the things forensic interviewers are trained to clock, not the presence of emotion, but the timing of it. Two opposite things both signal deception, which is why this one trips people up. The first is too little detail, vague, general answers when specifics would naturally be there. I just hung out about an entire evening. That's a flag. But here's the flip side. Too much unprompted detail is equally suspicious. Liars often over-explain because silence feels like suspicion to them. They'll give you the full route they took, what they ordered, who sat where, details that nobody asked for. It's a nervous filling of space. Truth tellers, when asked, give sufficient detail. Liars either give almost none or they give an almost absurd amount.
So, the baseline, cognitive load, language patterns, reaction timing, and the detail trap. None of these alone is proof of anything, but two or three happening together, that's your brain sending you a message worth paying attention to. One last thing, and this is genuinely important. These tools are for awareness, not for playing prosecutor at your dinner table. Most small lies are social lubricant, like, no, dinner was great, thanks. Knowing how deception works is more useful for protecting yourself from people who actually mean to mislead you. Now I'm curious, have you ever caught someone in a lie, not because they confessed, but because something just felt off? Drop it in the comments. Those gut feeling was right stories are always fascinating, and I read every single one.